a question. At least green question he will do. If I say all questions are compulsory, if I say this, all questions are compulsory. First of all, students will look at the questions which are difficult. They don't want to start only. Ma'am, I have not studied anything, let me rest. I had my class where students just slept in the class doing nothing. Then I said, okay, let me do this strategy. I said, okay, I'm giving you some questions, some choice questions. Green question is an easier question, compulsory question, and you can select. And for few students, I said, do any three. Any three, your wish. Students have done one question, students have done two questions, students have done three questions, some students have done all the questions also. My motto here is not to allot marks to them. My motto here is that every child feels motivated to write at least. If I say every question is compulsory, they will not start doing any question, at least in those classes where we have challenging kids. Students who are difficult to handle, students who feel that all questions which ma'am gives are difficult types, let's not start only. So this is one strategy which worked for me in the class which was a difficult class, where children always used to feel that if I have to do all the questions, let me not start with the questions. So this strategy works well in most of the classes. Even in the brighter class, children used to tell me, ma'am, give all tough questions and green question is yes question. They used to ask us to do like that. So when you give a choice for a child to do, at least child feels motivated to do. So this is only one strategy which I explained it to you. We have a lot of strategies in differentiation where you are not preparing 40 different lesson plans. You are not preparing 40 different lesson plans. You are preparing one lesson plans, but you tweak your content in your class itself. You are not, see, we all follow one lesson plan. Am I right? You create one lesson plan and the entire grade, all sections will follow same lesson plan. But are we getting the same percentage of marks in all sections? We should expect the same, no? But are we getting that? We are not getting. That means, for me, the strategies which I have put it in my lesson plan are not working for all the kids across the grade. So I want to change my strategy inside the class, and that is the freedom that you should have. If I am doing an assessment where I'm making all questions compulsory in one class, I'll give a choice in the other class. My only point is, we are not looking at the questions rather, or we are not looking at the marks rather, we are looking at the engagement of the student in the class. Only a spark, little encouragement that you will be able to do at least one question you should be able to do. Let's do it. And student feels motivated to do. And there are number of strategies. One is called as sort and share. Sort and share is a very easy activity. Maybe this differentiation itself is a very big workshop. Lot of strategies are there in the classes where you have challenged kids. Those who are challenged in the language or those who are not able to understand the concept, you have strategies under differentiation. It's called as universal design because the lesson plan may be the same, but the strategies that you do inside the classroom differs as per the interest of the students. Some students will write binary fission in steps 1, 2, 3, 4. Some students will draw the diagram of binary fission and label the diagram. Don't we give marks? Do we give marks or we don't give marks? A child has only written, if I give a question, explain binary fission. A child has written the entire binary fission. Will we allot marks or not? Say yes or no. We do. Another child has only drawn the diagram showing the binary fission. Will you give the marks or not? Yes. The child is knowing the concept. Child is not able to express in sentences, but the child knows the concept. Many of you must have been also gone for board checking. We know how we check the board papers, right? So it's very important for us to know that it is not what I want for my children to do. It is how they learn through their interest, through their abilities. That is what is more important. Accordingly, you need to change or plan your activities. That is what is differentiation. So change kar. Any clarity in this? Related to the same student engagement, I have a video. So can we play the video of this? Alike. The video name is Alike. It's a little longer video, but very, very heart touching. No, I have opened the tab. Alike. This one.
We have connected Bluetooth now, so from that the audio will be available.
इसमें audio है
नहीं है क्या?
I would request the video. What happened? That's okay. Any reflections? What is shown in the video? What is relatable to you? What is not relatable to you? Anyone? Please feel free. We need discussions. Yes, ma'am. Anything to say?
Finally, the parent accepts what the child wants.
Accept the child how he is. Initially, when he was writing ABCD, he was drawing pictures. He was wanting something to doodle with, right? Second time, his father says, you have to write ABCD. I always remember Sultan sir's one word he used to say, when the students are very small, kindergarten, I think ma'am can relate much. We ask, please color it in the box, color it in the box. It should not go out of the box. And when they grow up, we say, think out of box. How can a child think when you don't create children who think out of box? We want what we want them to do. We are not asking them to do, okay, you do, let me help you. We are only facilitators these days. Children know much more. So second time when he writes correctly ABCD, but with a design around it. He's an artist. Father says, no, you have to write in a cursive manner. What the child has done? Become a dyslexic. He has written D in an opposite way. So, one way or the other, we are also in our classes creating such kind of kids. We are not saying we as teachers, but I accept the fact that we also are bound to do certain things as a community, as a teacher community, as an administration. They say that you have to train your kid like this. I will have to train my kid like this. I can't go beyond that. But wherever you can do a small little thing to engage a child, look at the color change. That's most provocating in the movie. A child is happy and he hugs the father. Father's color changed from black and white to colorful. When a child is happy, he makes surroundings happy. Me, I am happy. My children are happy around me. Because I will create that happy environment to my kid. Right? So how to create that happy environment? I give freedom to do. We, as Heritage, we follow 5 dharmic principles, which we say that we will have to follow this, means we will have to follow this. There is authenticity, there is excellence, there is freedom, there is respect. So when I say respect, if children are violating that respect and saying some word which is not a correct word in the class, I always show them. In every class, we have those dharmic principle cycle. I said, I think we belong to a community where we follow dharmic principles. I show them respect. So, give them a freedom where child feels happy. So ultimately, what did the father do? He became that violinist to make his child happy. So we are the violinist for our children. Give a good tune so that they feel happy about being in your class. They welcome you. They do a lot of celebration when you are there in the school. They celebrate you as a person. Right? So when we talk about these kind of videos, when children forget what they are, we have hundreds of these movies with me. I play it for 5 to 10 minutes in the class just to have some reflection. You all must play one video which is on the Taj incident happened, no? Taj shootout that happened. There is one TED talk by a Harvard University professor. He's an Indian professor. He belongs to India, but he has been working there as a psychological professor in Harvard University. If I get that link, I'll forward it to sir. You have to play this in the class. You all have those projectors in your class, no? Such a motivating video that not a taste of the child will be stuck to see that movie. That talk with how well that thing was picturized and shown to us. Beautiful video. If I get that link, I don't know where it's lost in my laptop. I'll send that link. You all must show it to the classes. These are certain motivational movies where children will understand the importance of being in a class, getting educated in a right way. Right? So this is where we talk about, in our school, we also have a period called as SEL period. What is SEL? Social and Emotional Learning period. We have one period where class teachers take that class. And we show these kind of videos. We motivate them. We sit in a circle. All of us sit on the floor in a circle. And we have an informal pep talk in the class to understand what is the problems that they are facing. What is the issue? If they have something to say, they are open to say. Sometimes we move out of the class and ask the children talk among themselves, where we understand where the child is lacking in terms of the emotional quotient. And these videos are those which help them to come up with those emotional backdrops. Right? So, where by the engagement don't take place in the class, just like how the engagement was not happening when the child was giving something else, is when you don't set norms in the class. I say do whatever you want to do, the child will never excel. I have to set certain norms. Every time send the schedule in advance. So we are going to do this today. So be ready with your resources. Always stress on participative learning. Just like in our class we say, everybody has to be engaged in the class. Motivate them to engage. Provide feedback, very important. How many of us as teachers honestly say that every time when I check something, I provide an immediate feedback? How many of you honestly say, ma'am, I am the one who provides timely feedback for my kids? Anyone in this room, including me? You send it, ma'am? Please, round of applause for the teacher. I can't send. I am not that one person. Please have a round of applause for the teacher who sends a timely feedback to the children. Can we have a louder, not a heritage clap, louder clap? Thank you so much. What is very important is the last part, which I always try to do in my class. I try. I'm not saying I've excelled. I try. Students' voice. Sometimes students say, ma'am, today we don't feel like learning so much. Can we have 10 minutes of outside game? So these kind of activities, I take them out into the ground. We'll do 10 to 15 minutes activity. We come back. That's students' voice. Students' choice. If a child says that I want to draw and showcase, or can I explain this concept in the class? Welcome. Do it, because the child wants to do. Students' visibility, extremely important. If sometimes there are class in my class also, if I ask a question, always we have a common child who keeps raising the hand. Ma'am, can I answer? Ma'am, can I answer? Ma'am, can I answer? And what we do, because I have to complete my syllabus, what I do, okay, you answer. I am not looking at the rest of the 39 kids in my class. When a child feels that even I am raising, ma'am is always asking this child to answer, I will not raise my hand only. Any which way she doesn't ask me. If a child is not seen as a child in the class and given an opportunity to speak, there is no visibility of the child. The child will be disengaged. The child will be disengaged. Developed through the course is the naughtiest child is the focus monitor of the class. The naughtiest child is the focus monitor. What is a focus monitor? If anybody is getting distracted in the class, the child has to say, don't get distracted, focus in the class. He himself is not focused, but we have given a task for him to do. It is so difficult for a child to be a focus monitor who himself is not focused. But then continuously giving them some visibility, the child will start focusing in the class. So we make focus monitors in the class. We make time managers in the class whenever needed. Not always, whenever needed. We said, okay, today's class, time manager is so-and-so child. So the child will be managing the time. If teacher is going beyond, ma'am, I think you're going beyond, please come back to the class. So it's like that. So a lot of freedom that we give in the classrooms helps us a lot to be engaged in the classes. So most of you have written that engagement in the class is difficult. So give this kind of visibility. Make them monitors. Don't make a class monitor altogether who is taking care of everything. Each one should be given a responsibility to do something for the class, and that is where the motivation comes in. Right? We do a lot of student engagement activities. Ones are verbal cues. Can somebody tell me verbal cues? What are they? What is a verbal cue? Louder. She's saying something correctly. What's a verbal cue? Giving instructions verbally. I'm speaking, I'm giving instructions. Today, we will count on 1 to 5 and all ones will sit together, all twos will sit together, all threes will sit together, like that. It's a verbal cue. I'm giving some instructions through speaking. Then we have non-verbal cues. How many of us use non-verbal cues in the class to keep the class engaged? Anybody can tell me what are those? If you use any, I can use in my classes. Without speaking, some actions. Like finger on your lips. That's what you say sometimes. We have this hand raise. When a teacher stands like this, what does that mean? Teacher is standing like this with both hands. And what is this? Sorry? This is not a hand out. What does this mean? Yes, ma'am, you say something. Sorry? What does this mean in a class? That our conversation for now is closed. Be silent. Be silent. I don't use this. I don't. It should be. Maybe you will be using it. We can use it to be quiet also. That's fine. But what we do is, if we are doing a conversation, it is going very long. Then I'll start like this. Because we are close with the conversation. And if still I want the conversation to happen. Keep the students engaged. Okay? And then we also have differentiation strategies. This now I discussed with you, which keeps everybody engaged. Then we have game-based learning tools. A lot of games children like to play. I'll show some of them in the next few slides. Discussion boards. So I'll show you one discussion boards. I think most of you might have done this when you were in the online class. You've taken online class, no? Have you used Padlet? Have you used Padlet? Padlet is a very good tool. I'll show that also to you. This is a discussion board. Suppose I throw a question. I want the children to give the answer. I don't want them to give a verbal answer. I will share a Padlet with them. A child who has never spoken in the class will also write on the Padlet. I'll say, I am not asking you to write the name, but I should see 38 students in the class, 38 responses on my Padlet. I don't want the child's name who has answered, but all 38 students will answer. That means a child who never speaks in the class also has an ability to be engaged in the classroom. That's the discussion. We have Jamboards, we have Padlets, we have a lot of other things. Then, of course, group tasks are the crew tasks. These are the different ways of student engagement. It may work in classes, some may work in some classes, some may not work. Okay? So let's talk about some game-based learning tools. Kahoot, which I discussed with you earlier also. Kahoot is basically for lesson plans, active engagement. I told you they look for the grades, grade board. And then self-paced learning tool. A lot of videos are also there in Kahoot. We can send the link to the children. They can see it at home, come back and have discussion in the class. So this is self-paced learning module. Then we have Desmos for math. This is a very good tool where you can see all 38 students working on graphs. You want them to work on graphs, you give an assignment, they will create a graph, and you as a teacher can see all 38 graphs on your screen and evaluate them. Very excellent tool for math teachers, Desmos. Okay, all these tools are free. You need not pay. You just have to log in through your email IDs, okay, whichever it is. So it's something looks like this. These are different students doing a graph. Okay. Then you have remote learning. This is again, you can set a lot of material is there for children to have the extended learning activities. It depends on if you want it or not. I use a lot remote learning. This is again for biology, so I'll just skip this. Then you have discussion boards. This is the Padlet. I have shown a video, the same video which I have shown you, a like video. I have taken a reflection on the Padlet. This is how the students have written what they felt like. Okay, so there is one Padlet link I have shown. Can you show that? You can open the exam reflection, the red one. Can you see the exam reflection Padlet there? So what we do is, once their half yearlies are done, okay, children have got their marks, we'll ask them to share their reflections of how they have done their work. What is that one thing that did not work for them? What is that one thing that worked for them? And what can they do to improve? A kind of reflection from the students. So this is how we take every student. I tell them, if you want to write the name, you write the name. If you don't want, it's okay. English teachers, science teachers, SST teachers, all of you can use this Padlet for a group discussion in the class. You can do a kind of a debating. A lot of social science topics are there which have a lot of debates, and they can express their views and ideas. If you ask each child in the 38 students class, it will be difficult for you to take the reflection of each child. So you can go ahead with sharing a Padlet. It is padlet.com. That's it. Padlet.com. Log in with your email. It will ask you to create a Padlet. You will create a Padlet. Just like how you share a Google link, share the Google link with your class. Students can open. They cannot see each other's reflection. Only teacher can see the reflection. Students will only see their own reflection. Teacher will see everybody's reflection. So you can do it for your home assignments. You can do it for a lot of usages there for this. So I have used it. Sir, can we go back to that? My slide. So it can be used for story summarization. It can be used for any kind of reflections after a topic. Homework and assignments, you can post it on Padlet and take the homework through online. Building the collaborative work, any kind of collaborative activity, and making connections. When I say making connections, we can ask a crew to create a Padlet on their own and create a kind of a concept map. We can use this Padlet in any form you want. I as a teacher usually use this, as a class teacher I use for reflections once they are done with the exams or once they have done with any kind of a workshop that they attended. I take the reflection on the Padlet so that everybody's opinion is considered, what they feel about. Sometimes, when we give a workshop to the children don't like those workshops, but we give them. Then we take a reflection. Do we really need to continue? And very important thing is, I don't know about the kids here down south. In north, they're very open to say no to a teacher also. They're very, very open. They say, ma'am, this was wastage of time. This is the word that they use. The workshop has no sense, ma'am. We did not understand anything. It's just that we were sitting and we were listening. There's such an open kind of discussions that we have. So we as teachers also attend the workshop, but what is important is we as teachers, we have patience to listen to workshop. But for students, if only they feel relevance, they will attend. If they don't see the relevance, why will they even bother to listen to what the others are saying? So those kind of reflections I usually take on the Padlet. You can use it for whichever tool you want. I'm giving some kind of resources that you can use in your classrooms. Not all of them, few of them you can work on. This is whiteboard fee. This is also something on a runtime. You can create a class. You will create a new class and you will ask your students to join the class. Once all of them have joined, you will give a question. And you will ask the child to answer the question. I have done this with the teachers online. Teachers, I have given the question as draw an apple. Okay, that's the question I've given to the teachers. All the teachers have drawn beautiful apples. Not even one was like an apple that they have drawn though. But that is how I could see 35 teachers drawing the apple on the living time. You can see what the children are doing. So this is also a kind of assessment tool that you can use. Whiteboard fee, these are all very simple tools. You don't need anybody's explanation. You can explore by yourself and use them in the class. If you have a freedom to use it in your school, I'm not sure of. Okay. And these whiteboards are instant formative tools, best digital live tool that you can use. And once you see the diagram, I can there itself post, or answer I can post there, this is missing. I can do it there and then itself. So a very interesting tool is whiteboard.fi. This you can use. I'm giving some tools to you to explore. Okay. This is everybody has used, Google Jamboards. Jamboards are very common ones. When you open Google and go to the drive, you can find the Google Jamboards. Just like Padlet, you share and children will post in their comments. Again, you can use it for summarization or any kind of learning. It's a Google Jamboard. Then comes the last part. Hopefully, I have left with half an hour. I'll try to wind up. Okay, assessments. Ultimately, whatever we do in the class ends up with assessments. Okay? Ultimately, the sad part of our Indian community is pen paper test. Do whatever you want to do in the class, but ultimately the child's entire future lies in the pen paper test. But if you look at the different kinds of assessments that we have, one is diagnostic assessment, which is the assessment that we do before the class, then during the class is formative, at the end of the term is summative, right? So diagnostic assessment evaluates the prerequisite or pre-knowledge of the child. Formative, throughout the course of the content, what the child has learned. Intermittently, the check for understandings that you take, all that works here. And summative is term and examination. These are the three kinds of assessments. Are we also having the same kind of assessments in our state board schools also? Do we have formative and summative? Okay, so we do also have, as a CBSE school, also have formative and summative. Summative is ultimately pen paper test. Formatives, if your formatives are robust, then your summative also will be easier. The child will be able to do the things correctly. Okay? Okay. Now, if your formatives are robust in system, and I say robust, don't keep giving only pen paper, please. Formatives have to be in different ways. In our school, as per the CBSE, we have 4 different options in formatives. One is subject enrichment, where you talked about practicals. One is multiple assessments. Multiple assessments, we do it in a very different way. It could be in the PowerPoint presentation, it could be group discussions, it could be only through Padlet, or it could be only through check for understanding. We do a lot of activities and we assess all those activities, what the child is doing. That is multiple assessment. Then we have class tests, which we all have intermittently, unit tests that we talk about. We have that, and then we have a concept called as portfolio. We have portfolio assessment. Portfolio assessment is any kind of assessment or any kind of work the child has done through the year. It could be submission of notebooks, it could be submission of assessments, it could be assignments or submission of any kind of an artwork. All that comes under portfolio. So we have 4 different divisions in formative. I do not know how it works for you. Is there any demarcation of these many assessments that you have to take in formatives? Do you have that in senior, for grade 9th, 10th, 11th? Do we have anything like that? We do have demarcations like that, or how is it? How do you have your formatives taken? Sorry, sir? You do have, just like I told you, we have 4 different divisions in formatives. Do you have that kind of divisions in, you just do have to take how many assessments? That's it. And you mark on them. Okay. Okay, no worries. So even in the formatives, even you are taking the test periodically, that can be different ways, just like I discussed with you. Right? So what we do usually is exit tickets. At the end of the period, whatever we have, we do that exit ticket. Then we take CFU, check for understanding. We take role plays. We assess them on role plays. We do a lot of quizzes through online gaming modes. That's what we do. And then usually, most of the assessments students check by themselves. We don't check. One is self-check. We give the answers, child checks by their own. It could be authentic, it is not authentic. That's okay. Then we do peer check. Peer check is authentic. My paper is checked by some XYZ person, some XYZ person is checked by me. So what I do is, once they do the assignment, I take it from them, I mix it up and randomly distribute to the students. They do the checking, which is peer check. That means you need not check the 8 section bundles that you have got by yourself. That's the peer check. Then we do practicals. Then we do projects, projects-based learning. This is called as PBL. We give a research project to them to do 6 months period in time, and we assess them on that. This is how we do the formative assessments, where we minimize teachers' workload and give authentication to the students to be authentic in their checking. We don't expect child to give authentically check papers, self-check. The child will not do. The child will correct his answer and give marks. That we all know, but it's okay. We keep telling them, be authentic. It's okay, you have given marks, that's fine. Next time, let's be authentic. When we keep reiterating in a positive way, after 5 assessments, the child will be definitely authentic in checking his own paper. You have to reduce your workload because you have multiple tasks to do. We as teachers have multiple tasks to do. So don't keep giving so many assignments and 10 bundles or 20 bundles to check, and whole of the year you're creating assignment, you're checking only. Where is the time to create resources? Where is the time to create lessons? Where is the time to create some activities for the children? Because we're always with bundles and checking the papers to mark them on. So it's very important for us to give time for ourselves, minimize your work, but creating that authentic kind of assessments. Okay? And when we give assessments, we always have to give timely feedback and a meaningful feedback for the children, which is always a descriptive feedback, a positive comment, and what needs to be improvised in that content that the child has written. That is what we do. And always encourage self-reflection. Do we do any self-reflection activity in the classes? I give an answer sheet to the child, and I'll ask the child to reflect on the answer sheet. Do we do that activity? Do we do? We ask a child, okay, look at your paper, find out where you have done wrong, let me know why this is wrong or what can be added. Do we do that activity? We do, very good. So we do a lot of self-reflection activities with their answer sheets. Okay? These are certain tools where you can get ready-made papers for the summative assessment. Okay? We have Edpuzzle, we have Edulastic, you have Khan Academy. Khan Academy questions are really very good. Excellent questions. I'm not saying copy the questions. Don't copy. You take the question, tweak it in the way you want. Very useful resources for you. Of course, we will use our brain, but still making your life easier. Okay? Edulastic is a very good website. Please explore. Now we are coming to the last part